A woman in Bakersfield, California is suing her former employer after she claims she got fired after she deleted an app that tracked her every movement. Now, this is an app that the company forced her to download onto her phone. It's known as Xora. And Myrna Arias says that the app gives her employer all of her destinations, wherever she's traveling, in real time. Now, her boss even admitted to her that he can track her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. His name is John Subtis, and he is the person who's going to have to deal with this lawsuit. Now, in the suit, Arias claims that the app allowed Intermex and her boss to track her movement whether she was working or not. Intermex is the wire transfer service that she was working for at the time. She said that when she and her fellow employees asked her boss if she could track them, or if he could track them when they weren't working, he said that he admitted that employees would be monitored while off duty and bragged that he knew how fast she was driving at specific moments ever since she had installed the app on her phone. So I was really curious about whether or not Xora, the app in question here, had that capability. And I came across a really great video that gives you detailed information on how the app works. Take a look.
Linda receives a call about a broken water heater. When she enters the address into the map, a building icon displays, indicating this is an existing customer. With a single click, she sees the contact information and creates a new work order with information and instructions. Because the address information is already populated, the system will provide her tech with turn-by-turn navigation to the job site. Linda sees that Simon is the nearest available employee and selects him for the job. Simon accepts the dispatched job on his mobile device and instantly accesses the job instructions and location details. Linda continues about her business and receives an automated alert when Simon arrives at the job. Linda checks the worker's map to see Simon's route and reviews the stops along the way.
Reviews the stops along the way, so you can see in real time where someone is going, how fast they're getting there. And the issue here isn't that she was being monitored while she was on the job. She was also being monitored while she was, just living her everyday life during her free time. And her boss totally confessed to her, according to her lawsuit, that he was tracking her during off-work hours.
So let's establish a couple of things. First, drums. Okay. Secondly, the one part of the story you got wrong is Intermex. It's actually a delicious restaurant. I like tacos.
It's a Tex-Mex place.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a mix between American food and Mexican food. That's why it's Intermex. Okay. Now, on to the substance of the story, which is actually very interesting. So, I ruled that they are both guilty.
Fascinating. Why is that?
Now, if this is part of how you do your job, as that video explains, look, she's got to know who to send to the job. And if you got the app, then she knows Simon is the closest to the job. She sends Simon. You need the app, right? On the other hand, the boss cannot be perving out on the app and tracking them on when they're not on business hours. So the reasonable conclusion to this would have been, hey, go to Human Resources and say, you've got to have either a different app or a functionality in this app that says that I can turn it off.
Right.
Or you give me a different phone. I use this phone for work, and then I use my personal phone, and I leave this phone at work when I'm not on the job. That's the correct answer.
Yes, that is the correct answer. However, a few more details to fill you guys in on the story even further. It was a company-issued phone. So she could have purchased her own phone and not had that app on it. And, she could turn off her company-issued phone when she's not working. So that's a solution. Another thing to take into consideration is that this app does not have the ability to turn off the GPS function. So you're able to clock out on the app, so it shows that you're no longer on duty, but you don't have the ability to stop your employers from tracking your every move. The GPS feature is still on and it remains on.
So I think she's within her rights to say, I can't have my boss, after I clocked out, checking out all my movements. That's a violation of my privacy. And then you're going to have to get into specific laws as to whether that breaks the law or is a civil penalty, etc. On the other hand, she can't just burn the app. That's part of her job. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't blame her, because my emotional reaction is, why are you tracking my movements during the weekend? That's super creepy. I
think that he's in the wrong more than anything, okay? I understand that this could be a useful app, but it's beyond an invasion of privacy. Your employer should not be concerned with what you do during your free time. And so if I were in her situation and my boss had told me, yeah, I can even see how fast you're driving during the weekends, yeah, I would delete the app immediately. The boss is in the wrong for firing her right away instead of looking at this and deciding, hey, you know what, this is a little bit of an issue. I shouldn't have the ability to see what my employers are doing or employees are doing during their free time, and let me find a solution to it. The first thing he did was fire her. So I think she's within her right to file a lawsuit against him. Now she's seeking damages in excess of $500,000. I should note that she was making close to $8,000 a month at this job.
That's a nice job.
Yeah, she had a good job, so I can understand why she would file a lawsuit against him for being fired. But again, I mean, this is just another symptom of a larger issue that we're having. Right now, we have advanced technology that does make our lives easier in some respects, but it also invades our privacy. And so we have to do a cost-benefit analysis, and we have to have certain protections in place so people don't have their privacy violated.
Anna Kasparin, you make a compelling point, okay? And I think that he has the greater responsibility because he's the employer. So he's got to figure out a right way to do this for all the employees. So if I'm the court, I would say, hey, listen, you can't just summarily fire her. She has a legitimate issue here, and it would have been incumbent upon you to go to Human Resources and figure out the best way to handle this rather than just say, okay, you're fired, gone. Okay, now who else is using the app? Let me go track them. That's not acceptable.